Burnett.
Yes. Wait, is that it? Okay, all right, so I call this meeting of the Tallulah Falls Planning and Zoning Commission on November 11th at 6 o'clock to order. The first item is adoption of the agenda as presented for today's meeting, November 11th, 2025. Can I get a motion to approve? Yeah, I'll second. Okay. All right. So the next item, okay, in discussion is new business. Which is the follow-up to the last meeting's open floor discussion. I just went over a couple of the rules of the zoning ordinance that we discussed. I just want to go over a few things like the tree preservation ordinance. That's gonna remain tabled. I was talking to Linda regarding past meetings where this issue was discussed. So there's of course a difference between tree preservation and land disturbance. The city council didn't want to tell homeowners that they can, take trees down for landscaping. They didn't want to tell them they could or couldn't take trees down for landscaping in their yards. So the tree preservation is tabled, doesn't need to be brought up unless somebody feels the need. Just wanted to go over the land disturbance ordinance into Tallulah Falls, which states you need a permit to strip or clear cut trees in the sensitive land district from the zoning administrative officer. The sensitive lands are any lands in Tallulah Falls that contain slopes of 40% or more, or areas where substantial clearing of land could have adverse effects on surface waters or watersheds. It states no more than 20% of the healthy trees may be cut. And okay, I don't know when this section of the ordinance was put in place, but there are penalties for violating these rules. The next thing we talked about was the transferable development rights. This is also included in the Tallulah Falls zoning rules and was placed there in December of 23 and January of 24. And I was told that issue was settled in executive session of the city council, and so that's pretty much tabled too. The last thing I think was the noise ordinances. There are two noise ordinances. Let's see, which were implemented or updated in November of 24. One of the ordinances deals with construction noise. And that states, it's only allowed between the hours of 7 AM to 7 PM, Monday through Saturday. And the other ordinance, is for areas which are designated R1 and R2, which states it's unlawful between the hours of 10 PM and 7 AM to make noise from a source within its ownership or control that is audible in the interior of any sealed dwelling. And again, there's penalties for violating these ordinances. And then to keep up with what's going on in the city council meetings, and I always either watch them or attend, so I mean, I can just bring whatever was said in that meeting to these meetings. So for the last meeting of the city council, they had adopted the millage rate requiring an increase in property taxes by 2.48% over the rollback millage rate for Raven County and 7.70% over the rollback millage rate for Habersham County. This resulted in an unchanged millage rate of 6 mills. Any change in an individual's tax bill will also depend on the change in assessed value. They used the following example: an increase of property taxes on a house in Tallulah Falls worth $300,000 would be about $17.40 if there was no reassessment increase. Then they were asked about the water drawdown that Cornelia is interested in. saying Georgia Power is involved in those talks, but nothing has gone forward on that issue. They were also asked about a rate increase for water, but are still working on working through those numbers. They mentioned Demorest raised rates from 418 to 430 per thousand. Tallulah Falls is still waiting on more information. They were also asked about the updated business plan and the new water line extension. These items were tabled for the next meeting because they are waiting on the attorney for more information, so that should be probably discussed Thursday's meeting. Let's see, oh, and then they were designing new gateway signage for Tallulah Falls to replace the old signage, which will be placed at both ends of the city. The signs will be approximately 10 foot, and they will cost approximately $15,000 each and would be paid out of the SPLOST and hotel and motel taxes. They were checking to make sure the signs will not be placed in the DOT right of way. But this wasn't finalized during the meeting either. And the last thing was the paving and pipe replacement they discussed, and it had since been completed on River Street, so. And the next item, for the open floor discussion, there has been interest in some properties around town, so I want to go over items that need to be considered for conditional uses for businesses. Part of section 703 in the ordinance deals with being able to place modular or manufactured homes on a property, which have to be attached to a permanent foundation. There are many items under this section, and they can be found in the zoning ordinance on the Tallulah Falls government website under meetings and documents, and then click on planning and zoning and scroll down and click on the Tallulah Falls zoning ordinance. This ordinance does not allow for mobile homes. And then the second section is section 1908, which deals with just general conditional use for businesses. The following are the items under this section. If there is need for off-street parking and loading, you have to make sure you have enough acreage. If you are planning on using signage, they have to be compatible with the surrounding area. If you need a buffer, again, there needs to be enough acreage for that. The ingress and egress to the property has to be suitable, and the effect of the proposed activity on traffic flow along adjoining streets cannot be adversely affected. Outdoor lighting cannot cast light on adjacent properties. Hours of operation, let's see, have to be within ordinance rules. Public facilities and utilities adequately serve the proposed use. The proposed use will not have significant adverse effects on the level of property values or general character of the area. The physical conditions of the site, including topography, size, shape, and drainage, are suitable for the development. And the proposed use is consistent with the goals and objectives of the Town of Tallulah Falls Comprehensive Plan. So that's, I guess, the general conditional uses for the business. So since there's no one here, and probably, is anybody online?
We have one person on.
Okay, if they have any questions.
Do you have any questions, Kathy?
You muted.
Want to do it for us, Jimbo?
I don't.
It's felt like I was there.
Okay, well, does anyone have any?
So we don't know, there's this mystery, I guess, of what that's even about.
Yes, that
And-
somebody was asking about,
But they had, I thought they'd put in an application and that's not true.
I'm not sure if they have or haven't actually, yeah, so.
Alright, so what do we need to look at on that?
I was really, that was just to inform regarding conditional uses for businesses.
Zoned as business, right, not residential, is that?
Correct,
Okay.
yes, it was definitely, yeah.
And what number did you say that was that we need to look at with them?
The sections,
703?
yeah, 703 and 1908.
Anything in particular you said?
No, it was just, I guess to become familiar with. And. And that way, if, you know, whoever is. Interested in this, you know, if they see this meeting, they'll know where to go to check for,
Okay.
yeah. Right. Okay, if there's nothing else. It's 7:11. I asked for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, move to adjourn.
So do we, I've got to figure out how to run this up. Okay.